Hello, Year 1, and welcome to your third lesson of English for this week. We are going to look at traditional tales. Now, some of you may already know what a traditional tale is. Some of you may have read one and not realise that it was a traditional tale, but we're going to look at traditional tales in more detail today, and you are going to understand what the word traditional means and what the main features of a traditional tale are, okay? So, traditional tales are stories that have been told and retold for many years. Often they are passed down through generations. Therefore, they become a story that many people know. There are often lots of different versions of the same story because when it says they've been passed down through generations, that means that your grandma and granddads may have told them to your mums and dads, and then your mums and dads tell them to you. And then when you have children, you'll tell them to your children. And then those children will tell their children. And it carries on going and going. Traditional tales are also known as fairy stories or fairy tales. So you may call them fairy tales or fairy stories or traditional tales, but they all mean the same thing. So, can you name some story titles that are traditional tales? The first one that comes into my head is Cinderella. Okay, that is a traditional tale. Can you think of any other ones? If we go back to this and have a look at the pictures, that might give you some clues. Okay. Where do we think this character has come from? What story? I think it is either Robin Hood or Peter Pan. This lady has lost a glass slipper, so I wonder what story she has come from. This little girl has a Red Riding Hood. I wonder what that story is. I'm not quite sure what this story is meant to be. And this character is a bit like a wolf, isn't it? I wonder what that one is. You have a try and guess. Can you name any characters from a traditional tale? So, if we go back, this is the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, isn't it? This is Little Red Riding Hood from the story Little Red Riding Hood. This is Cinderella from the story Cinderella. And I think this is Peter Pan from the story Peter Pan. Actually, looking at it again, he's got bows and arrows. So it's probably Robin Hood. Right. Traditional tales often begin with, excuse me, once upon a time, a long, long time ago, in a land far, far away, in a faraway kingdom, one sunny day. Did you ever hear the story of, or early one morning? Now, most traditional stories or tales start with once upon a time, don't they? That's the most popular one, but they sometimes start with these sentences too. Common themes in traditional tales include magic, love, talking animals, good versus bad, a happy ending, and they all lived happily ever after. And the power of three. That means that three things happen, okay? Like, for example, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. There's three bears, and Goldilocks does three things in their house, doesn't she? Okay. A setting is where the story takes place. So, popular settings in traditional tales can include a magical kingdom, a far, far away land, a cottage, in the woods, in a forest, or in a castle. these are some of the traditional tales that we know. Well, some of us know, but this is just a list of traditional tales. So we've got Jack and the Beanstalk, Cinderella, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, The Emperor's New Clothes, The Little Red Hen, The Ugly Duckling, The Frog Prince, Hansel and Gretel, Rapunzel, Little Red Riding Hood, Pinocchio, The Three Billy Goats Gruff, The Three Little Pigs, Rumpelstiltskin, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast. Let's play a game. Traditional tales game. Okay, you've got to name the story. First, you've got to try and guess with the clues, and then there'll be pictures, and you can use the pictures to help you guess. So, click anywhere on the screen for clues and click here for the answer. Right, don't click there yet, Miss Louise. It's a tale about a beautiful princess and her evil stepmother, the queen. Does anybody know what it is yet? She went to live with 7 dwarfs in a cottage. Oh, I've got it now. She was poisoned by an apple, but was woken up by a kiss from a handsome prince. Oh, I thought they were going to show me pictures. Let's see what the answer is. Do you know what the answer is to this one? Let's have a look. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Yes. Okay, right. I thought there was going to be pictures, but there isn't. So let's just read the writing. It's a tale about a lovely girl who has to spend her days scrubbing and cleaning. Oh dear. She has an evil stepmother and 2 ugly sisters, but gets transformed by a fairy godmother. I bet you've got it now. A handsome prince finds her glass slipper at a ball and doesn't stop until he finds her. Shall we see if you're right? It's Cinderella. Yes. Okay. The key features of a traditional tale include all of these things, okay? Not every single traditional tale has all of these things in, but these are things that traditional tales have. Okay, can have, sorry. They often begin with once upon a time. Something goes wrong, so there's a problem in the story, isn't there? And then the problem gets solved, and the ending is usually happily ever after. Love and magic are common themes. There are talking animals sometimes in them. Sometimes they have princes and princesses, and they often have good characters and bad characters. Now, here on this page is a link to these particular stories being read on YouTube if you don't know any traditional tales. Now, you've got to be able to know some stories to be able to do the work. And our work includes all of these features, all of these things, okay? You're going to look for these things in the stories. So let me show you the worksheet. And this is what you've got to do today. Don't forget to put your name up there, and you're going to know some of the key features of a traditional tale. So, I need you to choose 3 different traditional tales, and you're going to write what it's called in this column, okay? Then I want you to tell me who the good characters are, the bad characters, what's the main problem, and who helps. So I'm going to give you an example. And I'm going to have to change my writing because I've done it big so that you can fit your writing in. But I'm going to just make it smaller. And I am going to choose the traditional tale, Cinderella. Okay, so I write that in that box. Now, who are the bad and good characters in Cinderella? Hmm. There, the good character is Cinderella, isn't it? And the fairy godmother. Oops. Notice how I put good character and then this little line and then an S. That means sometimes, oops, I've missed the Y. That means sometimes there are more than one character. So it could just be one good character or more than one. That's why I put the S on the end there. So in Cinderella, the good characters are Cinderella, the fairy godmother, and Cinderella has animal friends, doesn't she? Okay. Now, the bad characters in Cinderella. First of all is the stepmother, isn't it? And the ugly sisters. Now, the main problem. What's the main problem in the story of Cinderella? Okay, I'm going to write that as she is made to work for her stepmother, isn't she? Oops, I can't type and talk at the same time, it looks like, doesn't it? Oh, never mind. Okay, she's made to work for her stepmother. She loses her glass slipper, doesn't she? As well. So sometimes the stories have more than one problem, but it's okay for you to just write one problem if you can only think of one problem. If you can think of more than one problem, then you can write it in this box too. Now this bit says, who helps? Well, to begin with, the fairy godmother helps Cinderella, doesn't she? Okay, and then the prince. Actually, the fairy godmother helps her all the time because when she loses her slipper, even though the prince comes looking for the person whose glass slipper it is, the evil stepmother and the ugly sisters try and hide Cinderella, don't they, so that she can't try the shoe on. But she does get to try the shoe on in the end, and the fairy godmother is the helper. Okay, so that's what you've got to do today, please. If you have any questions, let me know, but I think you'll be absolutely fine. You're doing a fantastic job so far, everyone. Good luck and see you soon.